Lost City of Atlantis, myth or reality beneath the sea, 9600 BCE. The ocean is not just water, it is memory itself. Beneath its vast blue surface lie the forgotten chapters of human history. Cities swallowed by rising seas, cultures erased by time, and stories that never reached the written page. For thousands of years, sailors, scholars, and dreamers have believed that somewhere in these depths rests a city unlike any other. A city remembered not through ruins, but through legend. This city is Atlantis. From the earliest days of human storytelling, the sea has represented both life and destruction. It gives and it takes away. Atlantis stands at the heart of this contradiction. A symbol of mankind's greatest achievements and its most catastrophic failure. Plato and the first written account. The story of Atlantis enters recorded history through the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. Around 360 BCE, in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias, Plato describes Atlantis not as a fairy tale, but as a historical account passed down through generations of Egyptian priests and Greek lawmakers. According to Plato, the story was told to the Athenian statesman Solon during his travels in Egypt. The priests claimed their records stretched back thousands of years, preserving knowledge of a powerful civilization that existed long before classical Greece. Plato insisted that Atlantis was real, a mighty empire that existed around 9600 BCE. The geography of a lost empire. Plato described Atlantis as lying beyond the Pillars of Hercules, believed today to be the Strait of Gibraltar. This placed Atlantis somewhere in or beyond the Atlantic Ocean. He wrote that it was larger than Libya and Asia combined, blessed with fertile plains, rich mountains, and abundant natural resources. The capital city of Atlantis was said to be a marvel of engineering. It was built in concentric rings of land and water, connected by bridges and canals. These waterways allowed ships to move directly into the heart of the city, making Atlantis a dominant naval power. Architecture beyond its time. At the center of the capital stood a massive temple dedicated to Poseidon, the god of the sea. The temple was adorned with precious metals, including gold, silver, and a mysterious substance called orichalcum, which Plato described as glowing like fire. The Atlanteans were master engineers. They built harbors, docks, defensive walls, and irrigation systems that turned the surrounding land into fertile farmland. Roads were precisely aligned. Buildings followed strict geometric patterns. Everything about Atlantis suggested a civilization far ahead of its time. A golden age of balance and power. In its early days, Atlantis was said to be ruled by wise kings who governed with fairness and restraint. The people lived in harmony with nature and respected the laws given by the gods. Wealth and power existed, but they were balanced by discipline and moral order. Atlantis became a center of trade and influence, controlling sea routes and projecting power across distant lands. Other civilizations admired and feared it in equal measure. The beginning of the fall, but power has a way of changing civilizations. Plato wrote that over generations, the divine nature of the Atlanteans weakened. Greed replaced wisdom. Ambition replaced balance. The rulers of Atlantis sought conquest instead of harmony. As corruption spread, Atlantis turned its strength outward, attempting to dominate other regions. This moral decline, Plato suggested, sealed the city's fate. The day the sea rose, according to the legend, the gods decided to punish Atlantis. In a single terrible day and night, the earth shook violently. Massive earthquakes shattered the land. The sea rose in towering waves. Floods overwhelmed the city's defenses. The ground collapsed, and Atlantis was swallowed by the ocean. Where a mighty empire once stood, only turbulent waters remained. The sea became clogged with mud and debris, making the region impassable to sailors. Atlantis was gone. But the question remains, was this the end of a real civilization, or the birth of the greatest myth ever told? Legend under the microscope. For more than 2,000 years, the story of Atlantis has divided scholars. Some argue it was nothing more than a philosophical allegory, a warning against arrogance and moral decay. Others believe Plato preserved the memory of a real ancient disaster. Modern science has given new tools to examine ancient myths. Geology, archaeology, and oceanography now allow researchers to test whether such a civilization could have existed. The Ice Age and rising seas around 12,000 years ago. Earth was emerging from the last ice age. Massive glaciers melted, causing sea levels to rise more than 120 meters. Entire coastlines disappeared beneath the ocean. Any advanced society living near the sea during this time would now lie underwater. This fact alone has fueled belief that Atlantis could have been real, its ruins hidden beneath layers of sediment. The Minoan connection. One of the strongest theories links Atlantis to the Minoan civilization of Crete. Around 1600 BCE, the volcanic island of Thera, now Santorini, erupted in a catastrophic explosion. The eruption triggered massive earthquakes and tsunamis that devastated Minoan cities across the Aegean Sea. Ports were destroyed. Coastal settlements vanished. Trade networks collapsed. To later civilizations, this sudden destruction may have seemed like the sinking of a powerful island empire. Other proposed locations. Over the centuries, Atlantis has been placed almost everywhere: the Azores, Spain, the Caribbean, Antarctica, even Southeast Asia. Each theory points to underwater formations, ancient texts, or geological anomalies. The Yonaguni Monument near Japan, submerged stone structures near India's coast, and ruins off the coast of Greece have all been suggested as possible clues. Yet none have been conclusively identified as Atlantis. Technology beneath the waves. Modern exploration tools have transformed our understanding of the ocean floor. Sonar mapping reveals hidden landscapes. Satellite imagery detects underwater structures. Autonomous submarines explore depths once unreachable. Each year, new anomalies are discovered, strange shapes, walls, and platforms that challenge conventional explanations. But proof remains elusive. Skepticism and debate critics point out inconsistencies in Plato's descriptions and the lack of physical evidence. They argue that Plato used Atlantis as a fictional example to contrast ideal societies with corrupt ones. Believers respond that much of the ocean remains unexplored. More than 80% of the seabed is still unmapped in detail. If Atlantis exists, it may simply be waiting. More than a lost city, Atlantis endures because it represents more than stone and streets. It represents human ambition, the desire to build, to conquer, and to surpass nature itself. The legend asks a timeless question: how advanced can a civilization become before it collapses under its own weight? A warning for the modern world. In an age of climate change and rising sea levels, Atlantis feels disturbingly relevant. Coastal cities face flooding, natural disasters grow more frequent. The idea of a powerful society destroyed by nature no longer feels impossible. Atlantis serves as a reminder that technology does not make humanity invincible. Atlantis in culture and imagination. From ancient scrolls to modern films, Atlantis has been reimagined countless times. Each generation reshapes the story to reflect its own fears and hopes. Some see Atlantis as proof of a forgotten golden age. Others view it as a myth designed to teach moral lessons. The possibility of discovery. Humanity now explores the ocean with unprecedented precision. Deep-sea drones scan trenches. Archaeologists map submerged cities. With every expedition, the chance remains that something extraordinary may be found, ruins that challenge our understanding of history. Between myth and reality, the truth of Atlantis may lie between legend and fact, a real disaster, remembered imperfectly. A true city transformed into myth. Until definitive evidence is found, Atlantis remains suspended in mystery, a city lost beneath the waves, calling out through time. And perhaps that is why Atlantis will never truly disappear. Because the ocean does not surrender its secrets easily.